Welcome to
Castle
Menzies. Yeah. First time we came here, yes, this was room 15, and from looking at it, we assumed it was just a servant's bedroom, some description. As soon as I walked in here, you get a really sick feeling, and to me, first thing I picked up on was blood. Something violent had happened here, and I got the sensation that it was somebody had died during childbirth in this room. Also picked up on that there was something to do with the baby had got stuck. That's what I picked up on. But it was a very horrible room, and I didn't know what had happened to the baby. Also, myself and Katrina got an image of a woman kneeling like that, like she was begging on the ground, kneeling on the ground in this room as well. Since then, obviously, it has been verified that this is the childbirth room. So it's happened loads of times. There's been lots of children murdered here and disposed of, for lack of a better phrase.
The other thing of interest is that when I thought of the lady associated with this room, I thought of her in a jacquard yellow dress, very ornate, which to me,
which isn't,
it didn't tie in with the servant's room, and I couldn't understand why that would be.
The lady of the house would sometimes be taken into a servant's room where she was kept out of sight of everybody from her baby, in case she had a girl, or in case there was a problem with the birth, so it could be kept secret and the baby could be disposed of. Kind of
so it ties in quite well.
It ties in quite well, and a very violent room, which is the first thing I came across. And it's very strange because there's a room just near here which is identical, and it feels fine. This feels horrible. So why would they be so different? You know what I mean? Why would they be so different?
Just a memory. Many years ago I discovered that in my hometown in Crieff, it was, I discovered that all the old burial grounds around Crieff are actually built on top of volcanic fault lines. I used my divining rods in one particular burial ground, and I discovered energies coming through the gates. Spirit lines are called. Every grave is a spiral of black energy coming up from it. And there was one particular burial ground at Menzies Castle, and in that burial ground I discovered one woman had a grave there. It had her name, and very unusually it had her address. She lived in a small cottage called the Sheehan Cottage, about a mile away. So I picked up the energy from a grave, followed it along the road for about a mile, and eventually discovered they went through the back garden, up the stairs of her house and into her bed. So there's a black spiral in her bed where she died, and a black spiral in her grave, connecting a link of energy between them. And here discovered in this birthing room there's a black spiral. You can find energy coming through here quite easily with divining rods. A black spiral just here. And I believe this is where the, in the past, in this particular room, if any of the Menzies females had a child and it was born either sickly or female, it would be suffocated and put into this fire. Obviously, of course, they couldn't have sickly children a few hundred years ago, and females, of course, weren't good for the hereditary aspect of the Menzies clan. So somebody, maybe a couple of hundred years ago, knelt down and put children in the fire, and even to this day you can find the energy coming from this, coming from the burial ground at Weem, about 300 yards away, and it's all connected here. Energy from the fireplace connected to the old burial ground.
This is Bonnie Prince Charlie's room. Bonnie Prince Charlie stayed here for 2 days in February of 1746 on his way to Inverness and then on to Culloden. And he did stay in here. There's documented evidence to prove that. But the bed and the soft furnishings are all replicas, unfortunately. But he did stay in this room. And sadly, the clan chief at the time and his family were thrown out of the castle 4 days later as a punishment, basically, for letting him stay here. And the castle was then garrisoned by Cumberland's troops, where some of the redcoats were left here. I think about 300 of them in the castle.